Certain Promises, Certain Threats by Rhys Timson. You will think you are safe when you see me. You'll take in the white robes, the feathery wings and the halo, and you will think your troubles are over. Little do you know, your troubles have just begun. By the time I arrive, you have been there a few days in the lower place. Time has no meaning there in Limbo. It'll feel like a few days to you. My associates will have visited you by then, made certain promises and certain threats. I will have told them not to touch you. But what I cannot see, I cannot prevent. But still, when you see me ducking under the lintel, you will feel relief. Were your hands not bound, you would clasp them together and say a prayer, whether you previously believed in me or not. You would say hallelujah, perhaps, or many other such strings of meaningless sounds you learned in your little turn upon the earth. It makes no difference. I can speak all of your languages. But to me, your words are no greater than the braying of a mule. So it will be a shock when I take the seat opposite you and smile my blinding smile, when the ties cutting into your wrists remain fastened and your ankles stay bound together. You're supposed to help me, you'll say. You're a... Yes. I know what I am. And I know the order to which I belong and my exact place in the celestial hierarchy, and you must know yours, which is somewhere in that vast existential hinterland between an angel and an ant. Because that's all you'll ever be. The truth is, no matter what you do, you remain on whatever rung of the ladder you began on. You cannot change what you are. Some may rise to favour, and others fall. But the hierarchy remains. Seraphim, cherubim, throne, the rest of the angelic host, a vast yawning gap, and then somewhere down below there is your kind. So far down the ladder you have barely left the ground. And there you remain. You must have order. And that order must endure. And that is, of course, why you're here. It's a funny place, Limbo. It used to be. The only souls you would find here were the unbaptized infants of virtuous pagans, Socrates, Virgil, and the rest. But that was before we made our arrangement with the lower place. Our deal with the proverbial, so to speak. Before that, the only torment here was the denial of hope. And there are those that say such a statement is all further torture superfluous. They, of course, would be wrong. You'll doubtless say at this point that you led a good life, not blameless, but who was? You did a bit of shoplifting in your youth. You kissed that girl or that boy when you were already supposed to be with some other girl or boy. You drank more than you should have, more often than you should have. You didn't give much to charity except when pushed, never volunteered at a soup kitchen like you said you would. You found some money and you kept it. Oh good, I'll say. And then I will leave and my associates will close in. You know their kind too. And I'm certain you have an understanding of their position in the cosmic hierarchy. With their cloven hooves, right? Little horns. They play a little closer to the stereotype. You will scream. Everyone does. Oh, at this point you're probably wondering about my accent. But you may be asking, are all the angels English? Well, there is a joke among your kind. They say that in hell, the French are the bureaucrats, the English the cooks, and the Germans the police. But in heaven, the Germans are the bureaucrats, the French are the cooks, and the English are the police. And that's why I sound the way I do. It engenders a sense of trust. The English are renowned all over the world for their sense of play. After all, from Kenya to Calcutta, from Belfast to Basra. I jest, of course, but that is a joke on which the sun will never set. Some more time will pass for you in Limbo when I'm gone. You remain in your place of confinement, sitting in that dark room, hands tied and hooded, listening to the noises from the other cells, screams. Please. You're not alone here. Even in your suffering, you're not important. They say that violence, or the threat of violence, is more powerful than violence itself, but devils are unsubtle creatures and impatient. You have a body in Limbo, and when I return to it, it will be bruised. I'll ask you again about your life, what you did with it. You'll have had time to think, perhaps become a theologian in my absence. You'll tell me he knows all, he sees all, so why the questions? I laugh. Truth is, he hardly sees a thing that goes on down there, where your kind live. His attention is not on you and never has been. He's looking elsewhere if his eyes are open at all. I mean, do you read everything? Do you believe everything that you read in books? You'll say to me that I am the same as them, the devils. You'll say there's no difference between us. But I will laugh again. After all, it's easy to tell the devils and the angels apart. The angels are the ones speaking in English accents. I'll perhaps start to cry at this point. Maybe even plead. There's little point to it. Your soul must be weighed. Your trespass is not forgiven but paid for. I must assign you to the right place. Your answers are a matter of cosmic security. You'll tell me again about the shoplifting. Oh. Well, there was more of it, wasn't there? And it wasn't just one kiss with that boy or that girl. It wasn't just once. And you lusted. Yes, you lusted all your goddamned life. I will smile again. Thank you for information. And you will scream as I leave. You'll scream until your throat nearly tears. Next time I see you, you'll be considerably less likely to argue. The devils would have ran the gamut from stress positions to sleep deprivation, all interspersed with some good old-fashioned beatings. And then I will guide you to a chair and wrap you in a blanket. You'll feel my goodness like the warmth of the summer sun. And I will whisper consolations as I sit you down and ask you again, what is it that you did? You'll probably sob. Most do. And at this point, I'll explain to you that if you refuse to tell me, there are others I might ask. Your partner, your son, your mother, your father. I can pull any of them in whenever I choose, and I can throw them back in the pond if I want. Give them a little near-death experience, a bit of lasting trauma. It's up to you, I'll say. But it's just dreadfully important that you answer these questions. We'll talk about him again, and his son. It was words like love and peace and forgiveness, all that stuff you yourself professed to believe in, but never acted upon. Because the truth is, your kind have been great teachers to us. I mean, from who do you think I learned these techniques? Now it goes two ways from this point. those who break, and there are those who buck. There are the ones that tell me everything, every sordid little detail of their pathetic little lives, and there are those with battered heads, lift them and spit their hatred at me with whatever spirit they have left. And I cannot recommend that course of action. The devils will pick you up and push you on the floor, and they will hold you there. And then one of them will place a bag on your head. Your world will go dark. Your breaths will become shallow, and then water will start to fall. Down it will come, splashing against the rough cloth and causing it to cling to your mouth. No power of reasoning will dispel the feeling of drowning. No rational thought will convince your mind or your body that your lungs are not filling with fluid. You will gag and choke and kick, and I will not let you up. Not yet. It's a strange one, this last technique. Nothing devised in the 9 circles of hell can beat it for eliciting information. It was your kind's greatest gift to us, and I thank you for it. You've always been experts in the art of inflicting pain upon each other, whether you mean to or not. Most don't last a round or two. It's too much for even the strongest mind to bear. And when you've suffered enough, I'll remove the bag from your head, and I will kneel next to you and your dripping face. Be shivering with fright, gulping at air, and I will lift you, and I will hold you, and I will look in your eyes, and I'll know that I have broken you. And then it will flow out like a tidal ball. The thing you wouldn't talk about, the thing you could never face, could never even admit to in your own reflection in the mirror. And don't pretend now that it isn't there. Lurking in the dark places of your soul, buried by the years but brought to light by me now. Dredged up from the muck for heaven's eyes to see. Don't pretend you don't know of what I speak. I know it's there, because I have seen it in every last one of you. So, my advice to you is, when your time comes and your trespasses are finally held against you, unburden yourself to me. Let's avoid all of the unpleasantness that so often comes with wresting the truth from your kind. For whether you yield or you resist, I will find the secrets you have buried. And I will know, at last, exactly where it is that you belong.